Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're watching. It's your girl Choose here. And I just wanted to touch on this story about Anna Mae Blessing. I don't know if you've heard about it or not, but the thing that caught me about this story was the notion of social isolation and how that played a huge role in this truly heartbreaking story. Now, before we get into this topic, as I approach this story with respect, I ask that you be respectful in my comment section. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, comment and share so our channel can grow. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. So let's get into it. On July 2nd, 2018, Maricopa County Sheriff's deputies were called to a residence in an upscale condominium complex called Fountain Hills. And there they found Anna Mae Blessing sitting in a chair waiting for them. And her 72-year-old son, Thomas, he was found dead in bed. And the reason for taking her son's life may or may not shock you, but let's go ahead and listen in.
With everything that's happened now that you've had a chance to look back, what do you think should happen right now? What do you think should happen next?
Well, I probably ought to be put to sleep. I'm no longer any good to society. I killed my son. When you get old, it's very hard on you.
Yeah, I imagine.
Life is rough when you're not.
Shocking indeed, huh? So what was going through her mind? Was she fully aware? Let's listen in.
If you felt depressed, if you were happy. Good.
Because they definitely were going to send me to a old people's home.
And what made you feel as though they were definitely going to send you to an old
They
people's
told
home?
me.
Did they tell you when they were going to send you to this?
Not exactly, but that I had to go.
Okay, let's stop there because that's a lot to unpack, right? Now, the first thing I want to acknowledge here is that if family members need to go to assisted living facilities, they have to go. There's just a way that we want to present it. If we can have a care team to help us with that, it's never, ever, ever an easy thing to send someone to a care facility, but sometimes it just has to be done. But it helps when you have a support team, when you try your best to include them as much as you can in that process. And I definitely want to discuss this at length because I know that regardless of what tips that we come up with and what works for us, what never works is just threatening to send someone. So that is a huge what you don't want to do. One important thing to note here is there was a previous police call from her son, Thomas Blessing. He called and said that his mother had guns and she had told his girlfriend that she, pew him. Let's listen to that police call.
There's been a statement made to my girlfriend that she was going to go in the bedroom and shoot me in the head. We don't get along. Okay. I brought her back from.
We're putting her into nursing home.
Yeah. We brought her back from Florida because she couldn't afford to live there. So, and we are putting her in a nursing home.
Okay.
Trying to. And she just. There's not much we can, do. The woman is getting very senile, very angry. She knows how to push my buttons. My mother,
Right.
Okay, this is so tragic because, number one, there was a threat made to unalive someone, and there are definitely weapons in the house. What is the Maricopa County Police Department doing? Aren't you supposed to at least take that person somewhere for 72 hours? This was a gross failure. Let's go back to his mother, Anna Mae, and see what we can get from her story.
My granddaughter said to me that I was interfering with Tom and Brenda's affair. And I could have sat and told her that one time when not too long ago, Julie came by me while I was working in the kitchen, and she made some remark about their relationship. And I told her that, I asked her, I says, Julie, did you and your first husband ever have three in the bed? And she says, no, we never believed in it. I says, well, I said, then how about you and Tom and Jack Daniels? Not another word was said. Either way, she didn't say anything more, and I didn't say anything more. That was it.
Okay. Last night, were things normal in the house, as normal as they can be last night, or did you guys have any disagreements or any discussions last night?
When they come in the door, they head for the bedroom, and they get into bed. They lay there and watch television. I'm at the other end of the house where I'm sitting in a chair and watching television because I have nobody to talk to.
Okay.
I might as well not have his voice.
And this is one of the reasons that I said this is just so tragic and heartbreaking all around, because many times our seniors find themselves moving in with family, and family is going about their lives, and they might have a room, and that's where they are all day. So, sometimes it is best for them to be in an assisted living facility where they will have people that will conversate with them and so on and so forth. Social isolation really affects your social cognition, and that's the set of skills that include being able to read other people's emotional expression, remembering, recognizing, whose face is familiar to you, being able to interpret a person's tone of voice, being able to empathize with another. It's just that those brain connectors between the nerves, that they transmit signals to one another. And when you're isolated, just like inflammation loosens nerve connections, so does social isolation.
And from what I've been told is that you're for 92, you're sharp as a whip. That you're very intelligent, that you're very smart for your age.
Tom was set on having me called, anyway, I took the test at the doctor's office. She says I'll never be incapable, or whatever they call it, when people can't cope with, know what things are all about.
So do you know what things are really all about?
I know the whole thing.
Okay. So what I would like for you to do is to walk me through everything that happened from the time that you woke up this morning, Anna, all the way up until me coming in here and talking to you right now.
Well, can I first of all tell you what led up to this, what brought it on?
Absolutely.
Ever since we got to Florida, it's to Arizona, started in Florida, and why I came with him, I'll never know. But Tom has a very foul mouth, and he's had 2 years and 2 months of anger management, because he used to beat his stepson. That was years ago. That was in Oregon. And his wife turned him in for beating the kids. And he had, not only that, but he had a very foul mouth. He was one of the most domineering persons I've ever known. extremely domineering. He expects everybody to hump for him. And if not, you can get called almost anything. And when we lived down in Black Canyon, him and Julie had the bedroom not too far from where mine was, rather close. And he used to set that thermostat so cold. And I would go out once in a while and turn it up a little bit, a couple degrees up, because there was no need for it. But he seemed to feel there was. And one day I walked out to the kitchen and where he was, and I said, Tom, I said, could you and I have a common sense talk about the thermostat, real quiet like, because he's very, very loud and mouthy, and he came up to me and he got his face right down next to mine, and he said, you F&B, he says, I'll talk to you any way I want to.
He over there acting all just like he ain't want to say nothing now.
I had, when I lived in Florida, before I came here, I had a 20-foot by 20-foot garden that I took care of. I had a small rototiller. I tilled it. I had fresh vegetables in my home. I had a beautiful garden because I'm a farmer at heart. And then you come to Arizona and you get stuck in a room and nobody talks to you. And you know, I got thinking while I was in there, how many millions of other old people this happens to. You have no idea what goes on in a home with an old person. It's just ridiculous.
Was there a point this morning, sometime in the morning, where you went into their bedroom? You went into the master bedroom where Tom and Julie sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. So why did you decide to go into the bedroom?
Well, I figured if I didn't get it done, that it wouldn't get solved.
Okay, what is it that you wanted to get done?
Well, first I started to talk with Tom about the situation, and he says, well, we could have left you in Florida, and when your money run out, you'd be out on the street. And you know, I almost think that would have been better. But this morning, I was tired. I hadn't slept for so long. And they had been ignoring me so thoroughly. And
Were you upset? Were you angry when you went in there?
kinda, yeah.
Okay. Were there any other feelings that were going through your head, through your mind at that point?
No, but until Tom started in on me, and
Okay, what exactly did Tom tell you?
I can't remember exactly.
Okay. Whatever it was that he told you, how did it make you feel?
No different than when he always gets on his rampage.
Okay, so you said he had made these mentions about it would have been better for you to stay in Florida?
Just stay in Florida. Well, I agree with him. It would have been better if I'd have stayed in Florida.
And I just wanted to just pause here to note that this is probably the first thing that set off a series of tragedies. I believe she mentioned an annuity, and I don't know if we showed it here or if I read it, but she mentioned an annuity, and annuities were something that when people work, that's what they got. But the system in these annuities are set up for you not to live very long. So once you get into the 70s, 80s, especially 90s, these annuities dwindle down to basically nothing. And you don't have anything to live on because you weren't expected to live until your 90s. So now you're forced with the decision that I'm not even going to say seems like, that is impossible, because how do you go from working all your life and just because you lived 20, 30, even 40 years over that senior citizen retirement mark, you're penalized for that. Go from living independently to now suddenly you have to make drastic decisions. So whether you're mentally competent or not, you cannot sustain yourself. That right there is trauma.
It was a Charter Arms.
Charter Arms? And what caliber?
I can't remember the caliber. It was a good size one.
So when you go into the bedroom and you have this Charter Arms gun, and you said that you don't have the hammer resting on a bullet, okay? When you go in there, where is the Charter Arms gun?
In my pocket.
Okay. So walk me.
And then I backed out and came over, and there Julie came at me from this direction for some reason, and so I pulled my gun out. I was gonna shoot her.
Okay, well let's first. You walk into the room. You've got your gun.
Yeah.
And what causes you to remove your gun from your pocket?
When I left the room, started leaving the room, Julie come towards me, and I pulled it out, and I pulled the hammer back first and pulled it out, and she grabbed for it, and Tom came from this side, and I backed up and I pulled the trigger, and it broke the mirror, and I don't know what it did, and then Tom was going to come at me again, so I pulled the trigger again.
Okay, so you fired the gun twice? Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you fired the first round, you said hit the mirror?
I don't know. I think it hit him, but I'm not sure how.
The first round?
I'm not sure.
Okay. How about the second round?
I know the second round hit him.
Okay, where did it hit him?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But
So
I do know I killed him because Julie was over by her bed by then, and she had my gun, my Charter Arms, but I had my 25, and I've been over before I went back to my room. I'd been over and took his pulse, and there was no pulse, so I knew I killed him. But what happened after that really isn't clear with me.
okay.
In any way, shape, or form.
Did you go in there with the intent to kill Julie?
No.
So after you have shot the gun twice, you said you don't know what happens to the gun, but there's a point where you have a second gun?
I have a
Where
little
were-
25.
Okay.
I had a little 25
Where did you have that second gun?
in my other pocket.
In your other pocket? And when did you pull that gun out?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember what you did with that gun? And what I mean by that is, Do you remember if you pulled it out and just held it down by your side, or did you pull it out and pointed at someone or something else?
Julie was behind the bed and hollering at me, and I pointed the gun at her.
And how do you know Tom's dead?
I bent over before I left there and felt his pulse. There was none.
Okay. When you reached down and felt that he didn't have a pulse, how'd you feel?
I didn't have much of a feel, I guess, because you have no idea what he's put me through the last year. And before that, there was never a thing. Before Julie, nothing happened. I could not understand that. It didn't make sense to me.
Okay, when you felt that he was dead, I mean, did you feel like a sense of relief, like it's finally over? Did you feel it? Did you feel any remorse? Did you feel sad for what had happened? I mean,
I don't know how I felt. I'll be honest with you, I really don't know how I felt.
okay. How do you feel right now about what happened?
I wish I'd stayed in Florida.
Okay. Do you feel bad for what happened?
Yes, in the sense that I killed my own son. But in another way to look at it is he can't holler and scream at anybody else. And because, it could be mercifully. You have no idea how loud his voice would get and how vicious. He got after Julie, and he's give Julie a lot of howlers too.
Do you feel bad about what happened, what you did to Julie?
What he did to
Do
Julie.
you feel bad about what you did to Julie in the sense that you pointed a gun in her direction?
Yeah, kinda. But she's part of the trying to get me into a nursing home too, so I don't know that I do feel that bad because, since I've come from Florida, between the two of them, the promises that they've made to me, I was supposed to go out and get some summer shoes. I was supposed to go out and get some blouses. And they were going to take me out to get some more clothes. Because when I left Florida, had planned on going up to shop for clothes before I left. But they couldn't take me up because they didn't figure they had enough time to do that and help finish the packing too. I don't know where things have gone wrong.
With everything that's happened now that you've had a chance to look back, what do you think should happen right now? What do you think should happen next?
Well, I probably ought to be put to sleep.
And what do you mean by that?
Done away with. I'm no longer any good to society. And
Why do you feel that way?
what can I do for society? I killed my son. Well, Tom has talked to Steve from Arizona, something or another. And Tom tried to tell me all the good points about it. But what kind of good points are there to somebody who's always been independent and on their own and been promised that they'll never have to live in a home? What are the good points?
Would you say that that's part of why you felt your life was over, because those things were going to be taken from you if you were going to be in a home?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a sad day when your son don't want you anymore after he's promised over and over and over that I'd never have to live in a nursing home.
And so Anna Mae Blessing was charged with first-degree murder, but less than a year later, it was reported January 29th, 2019, that Blessing was being held at the jail infirmary following that arrest, with her advanced age cited as the reason. After that, she suffered a stroke while she was in custody, and she was then released to hospice care in November of 2018. And so Anna Mae remained in that hospice care facility from November of 2018 until sometime in January of 2019, because on January 10th of 2019, the prosecutors moved for dismissal of the case without prejudice, and they cited her death as the reason, although the date of her passing was not provided. Wow, that was just really sad all around. And just to bring it back to social isolation in general. Again, our brains are wired for social interaction. So when we don't get it, the brain literally changes. I mean, Anna Mae Blessings did not appear to be suffering from Alzheimer's. She seemed to be sharp. And so I can only say that, this is probably the worst case of social isolation that I've seen, and the fear of abandonment. But it's definitely not uncommon in the way that it drives our brain to think differently. But what do you guys think about it? What are your thoughts and opinions? Let me know in the comment section, and let's get ready for our live discussions on these things. Because guess what? If we don't start talking about it, what we gonna do about it? Until next time, sending love and light.